Welcome to another edition of Divine Warrior Ninjutsu podcast for March 2019. I'm Shion Jason Steves, and without further ado, we're going to jump right in. Somebody asked me what my business name meant, or my dojo name. We go with Divine Warrior Ninjutsu. And if you look around the world, online, and just about anywhere else, whenever someone is associated with the Bujinkan, they have the word Bujinkan in their title. Such as Bujinkan such and such a dojo, or Bujinkan this dojo, and the Bujinkan that dojo. But, I wanted to go away from that a little bit because, well, I will talk about what Bujinkan really means, the word, but besides the meaning of the word Bujinkan, and the hidden meaning, there's also the fact that we don't just study Bujinkan schools. There are 3 schools that we study. Two right now, officially. There's one more coming that I haven't made public yet. But there's 2 schools that we study officially that are not Bujinkan related. Really. One isn't at all. So we wanted to stay broad. We are a ninjutsu school. We mostly do Bujinkan. But these other schools besides, we also do. So I wanted to be non-descript in that department. But as far as the Bujinkan goes, it means, what the word Bujinkan really means is Bu-jin. Jin, the word jin, let's start there. Jin means a person. So if you attach the word jin onto anything in Japanese, then you are that person. I'm Canadian. Canada in Japanese is Kanada. And if you say Kanada-jin, that means you're a Canadian. America-jin, you are American. It could be, just about anything. Then if you add the word jin to the end of it, it converts it to a person of that, whatever it is, right? So, Bu is a short form of military. So Budo is the military way, or, because martial arts in English, the word martial art means military art. Not, like most people hear the word martial arts, the first thing that they might envision is a guy in a white karate-gi with belt, that kind of thing. But martial art is really military. Martial, the word martial means military. It's a military art. So Bujin, when you put Bujin, Budo, do is the way, so Budo is the way of way of war, really. Or Budoka is a martial artist, right? So, if we take this a step further, Bu, warrior. Or war. Let's say war. Its purest form is war. So Jin, Bu and Jin, a war person. So now it's warrior. Generally, it's accepted to mean martial artist, or could be samurai, a feudal warrior, not necessarily a modern view of a martial artist or a competitive sport martial artist. Nothing like that necessarily, especially to the Japanese. So we go from Bujin, and Kan is a shortened version of Kami, which means a spirit or a god. Now, if you add it to a Bujin, it means a spiritual warrior. Or, in plain terms, it means a divine warrior. This is a warrior who is appointed by God, or who receives instruction from God, or is anointed by God in some way, or is driven by God. The Japanese view of God is probably not the same as the Christian view of a God, but that's not the point. I am a Christian. Therefore, I thought it was appropriate to call my school the Divine Warrior Dojo. Divine Warrior being the most literal translation of Bujinkan. And some people out there will say Bujinkan means Divine Warrior Training Hall, or something like that. But really it's not. The dojo part is training hall. So if they don't add dojo, Bujinkan Dojo means Divine Warrior Training Hall. And some people mistakenly put the translation for dojo into the Bujinkan part. So Bujin to most people might just translate as simply as martial artist. But in its purest form, if you look at the kanji, it does mean a divine warrior. Or some people might say warrior god, but that is very pompous because now they're trying to say that they are a god of warrior because they are of war, a god of war because they are that good, you know. So I definitely don't go that far. I am humble enough to know that God is my head and I am a servant. Therefore, Bujinkan to me means divine warrior. And we call it divine warrior ninjutsu because our ninjutsu, we don't study anything other than ninjutsu except for the samurai styles that are in the Bujinkan. So, I guess the short version to that is Bujinkan. Our school named Divine Warrior Ninjutsu is exactly that. And there's other ninjutsu schools in there, so it doesn't have to have the official trademarked word Bujinkan. Even though it's kind of there and it's kind of not. There's a play on words, as Hatsumi likes to do anyway. And so I thought that was quaint. I wanted to talk really briefly about some of Japan's cultural weirdities. I've noticed every time I go back, every year, there's something new I notice that is, we could say, eyebrow-raising, strange. Let's start with the not-so-strange. So, I guess when you're staying in a Japanese hotel, you should use your Do Not Disturb signs. I've discovered that when you put the sign out at night, they're quite good at honoring that. They don't bug you. But there's one day I forgot to put it out, and it was obvious I was in my room because I had the latches latched, as you should. Never just rely on the main lock and all that stuff. And they called me bright and early and asked me if I wanted my room done, when clearly I was still in there. And then I realized I'd forgot to put the sign out, so I said no. I didn't want my room done. I wasn't ready to get up yet. So, I guess the note there is, if you're staying in a hotel room and you don't want to be disturbed, you must put that sign out or you will be disturbed. It's guaranteed, because I did it twice. And they will do that. So, second thing I noticed, I've noticed this before, but I thought it was interesting to bring up. Whenever you go to a hotel, whenever you go to a restaurant, they always give you warm, wet face cloths. Sometimes even sealed in a bag. For sanitary reasons. I thought this a little bit strange. I was like, okay, so it's meant to, wash your hands, I guess. But I guess it's more along the lines of, it's very humid in Japan in the summer. And hot. We're talking like minimum 40 degrees Celsius. Not including the humidex. So it gets very hot. You're always sweating. Most people are walking around in public with a sweat rag to wipe their face with. So I've been looking around when you get to restaurants, and everybody is using these to wipe their face and their head. Their hands too, of course, but it's always going to their face because you're sweaty, and this helps to clean you up, I guess, and it's refreshing. It's warm water. So I just thought it was interesting. So it's like standard procedure there, which is something you'd never see here. People, yeah, we might get moist towelettes and stuff like that, but that's not the same. These are like purposefully heated in an oven, and when they're brought to you, they're like boiling. They're steaming hot. The water is vaporizing off of them almost instantly. But it's interesting. I just thought it was interesting. And lastly, I noticed the culture changing, and this time what seems to be in fashion is guys wearing their pant legs rolled up so you can see their ankles. I thought that's very strange, because in our culture this could mean something very different. It's not very macho, and it is not becoming of a man, so to speak. So I've noticed that this time around it was very popular. I was looking around and all the guys were doing it. They would wear jeans, and their jeans would be rolled up, and they'd be wearing loafers or something, sandals or something like that, with their ankles clearly showing, and I just thought it was very strange. Everywhere you go, also, the Japanese always give out straws. Every store you go to, every time you buy a drink, every restaurant, straws, 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 everywhere. It's like, I forget to say I don't want a straw because I usually don't use straws. But my goodness, they're everywhere. Another thing is, I like bananas. I bought some bananas when I was there, and I noticed this last time too, but I forgot about it when I returned home. Bananas taste like bananas. Imagine that. I live in Canada, and when we buy bananas up here, they generally don't grow in Canada. I think there's a couple of people that try from time to time, but generally they don't grow here, and when we get them, they have a particular taste. But in Japan, when you get a banana, it actually tastes like a banana. And I mean, what does that mean? If you ever get a candy or a drink or something that's like banana flavored, that's the taste of a real banana. And it doesn't taste the same, at least where I'm from. These bananas are amazing. They taste like real bananas. They must be ultra fresh or locally grown or something, but my goodness, they are good. I would also probably say don't buy tea in a bottle. It's usually terrible. When you go into the convenience stores, they have some of the same items that we sell around here, but some that are different, such as there's no chocolate milk. There is Coke. I can't remember seeing Pepsi, but there is Coke, and I have seen some things that are the same, some things that are different. Coffee flavored milk, like cold coffee flavored milk, is everywhere available in abundance, and it's actually really good. It's one of my favorite things to buy there. But tea is also abundant, but it's generally, I'm not a huge tea person. Maybe somebody else would like it, but I don't. Now they do have candies. A lot of them are the same. Chocolate bars a lot of them are the same. Some of them are unique, like wasabi flavored Kit Kats I saw, and stuff like that. But then there's other random candies that they have mixed in, and you can't really tell what they are by looking at the package. But I'd like to try different things, so I bought some and took them back to my hotel room, and my goodness, they were the worst things I ever put in my mouth. Ugh, they're bitter and ultra salty, and I didn't have a clue what they were, but I would caution you that if you ever go and you get random candies that you can't read because there's no English on it, don't buy those. They're terrible. So I wanted to point these out this time, because every time I go, I see something, and I'm like, you know what, I should say something about these, and I never do. So this time I wrote them down, and I made it a point to tell you what I see, and it changes year to year. So that's what's going on the last time I was there, which was in September. I want to remind everybody out there to stretch before a class. When I was in Japan last, there was a 15th Dan who arrived to train at the Honbu, and it was his very first day, and while he was training, he wrecked his elbow. That's right, he was doing a technique. Apparently, he was being overly aggressive, a little strange, some people were saying, a little out of the ordinary, and he did a technique quite forcefully and wrecked his elbow, had to go to the hospital, and he was out for the rest of the trip. So, just a quick reminder, don't be stupid. Always stretch before you train. During practice, we always use the words uke and tori. Uke being your training partner, and tori being the defender, or the guy practicing the technique. But when I was doing my research and reading the kanji and definitions, possible definitions for these words, I came across some interesting information, which I thought was a little bit humorous, funny, but also enlightening, so that we understand what these words really mean and what our roles are as uke and tori. So I thought I'd share something with you. Uke. So we'll start with him. I have defense, a reputation, an agreement, a receiver of a technique, as in martial arts, a submissive partner of a homosexual relationship, a streak of good luck, to receive or to get, to catch like a ball, to be struck by wind, waves, or sunlight, to sustain damage, to incur a loss, to suffer an injury, to feel influence, to undergo surgery, or to take something like a test, to accept something like a challenge, to be given something like life or talent, to find funny, to find humorous, to be amused, to follow, to succeed, to be descended from, to face a certain direction, to be modified by, to obtain, to be well received, to become popular, or to go down well. Reception, like a reception desk, an information desk. Acceptance of something, to receive, to get, to accept, to take, to interpret, to understand. To hear or to be told, to know, to receive, such as an order in the military or in a job. To undertake, to comply, to take a reservation. To take charge of something, to accept, to agree to inherit, to succeed, to take over. Reception, to be on the defensive, passive attitude, passivity, passiveness, the passive side, ukemi, even. The art of falling safely, so ukemi even came up as a definition when you use the word uke, which is interesting, isn't it? To catch, to stop the blow, to react to or to take the advice of a person, to accept, to come to grips with something. To be able to take food or medicine or something, to bear something, to tolerate, to endure. The recipient, to contract, to undertake, to take over the responsibility of, charge of something, matter in one's charge, assignment or your job. To take a task, to assure, to guarantee, to vouch for, to promise, to ward off an attack. To fend off, like a question. To elude, to evade, to dodge, to turn aside, such as a joke. These are all very interesting, and they give you a new insight into the uke of the technique. So the uke, if you're more of a beginner, is the receiver, or your partner. In a way, you are the receiver. So if I was demonstrating a technique in class, I would have an uke stand up, and he would come at me. So technically I'm the defender and he's the attacker, but once I begin the technique, he's receiving what I'm given. He's taking what I'm dishing out. So while he is originally the attacker, the uke is all of these things. Tori is me. The tori is the one in a dojo setting that is doing the technique, to repeat the technique, or if I am showing a technique to students, for instance, I am the tori because once my attacker approaches, I am doing the technique, which keeps me safe. So the tori is the me. It's the guy, the one that's in control of the technique, right? So let's explore some of those definitions, which I think are a little funnier. But they're also deep in meaning. And of course, we all know that when words in Japanese are used, like from Hatsumi Sensei, that they have deeper meanings. The Japanese language is more fluid than it is in English, and it can mean more than one thing at the same time. So first, I thought it was interesting that tori means a bird. Or more specifically, tori can mean chicken. Now, isn't that funny? So, you're pardon my language, chicken shit, and you're sitting there to take the technique. So, we also have fowl and poultry. It's a rooster. But now, here's the more deeper meanings. We have taker, or taking, the collector, the remover, the last performer of a day, or a star performer, the last performance, an active partner, such as in a judo demonstration. It also means in the heart, a domestic chicken, chicken meat, a transaction, or dealings, or a business, a trade. A tori is also a gate. It's an archway, those things that you see in Japanese architecture where it looks like a picture frame around nature. The giant two sides and then the beautifully carved archway at the top so that it's a doorway that you go through or that you look through at nature. One of those things. Tori also means to exchange or to replace, to pick up, to adopt, such as a proposal, or to accept or take up a topic or a complaint, to listen to deal with, to feature, to take away, to confiscate, or to deprive someone of something, or to revoke, to deliver, such as a baby, or to collect taxes, to cancel, to withdraw, to retract, to take back, such as words, to revoke, to take out, to produce, to pick out, to fetch, or to retrieve. Tori also means to harvest, or to reap, to take in, to gather, to adopt an idea, to accept, like advice, to introduce, or to borrow something. Treatment, service, handling, management, control, management, and supervision, to take back, to regain, to get back, to recover, to remove, to uninstall, to take away, to set apart. Tori also means to grapple with or to wrestle with, to engage in a bout, to be matched against, to tackle like a problem, to come to grips with, to work hard on, to handle or operate a machine, to use, to deal with an issue, to treat someone in a certain way, to deal with someone, or to carry, to sell, to deal in something. It also means, in a different approach now, first of all, at once or right away, or for now, for the time being. So if you were being attacked, you're dealing with it first of all, before anything else, or at once, right away. These all are very interesting insights. Now, all of these are slightly different. They all have different kanji, completely different. Some of the kanji are the same. We always just use these words uke and tori to mean the attacker and the receiver, but it's much deeper than that. Much deeper. What are your thoughts? Many martial artists become very prideful and big-headed or become bullies, therefore becoming the person they originally joined to protect themselves from. Is it important to practice humility? Is there anything we could do or should do to help juggle our confidence, pride, and humility? There's a saying I heard once, and I cannot remember by whom, but it's something like, be careful lest in destroying the dragon, you become the dragon. Also, when thinking about the definition of martial artist, a martial art is basically, martial means military, right? So martial art is a artistic version of military battle, military conquest, military strategies. It becomes beautiful and artistic sometimes that way. That's why we say martial art. Otherwise, you could just say military. Or, I practice fighting. Nothing big. So a martial artist, in my mind, when I was growing up, the definition of a martial artist was someone who was very slow to anger. In other words, you could be bumped on the street. There's a movie, I think it was a Shokozugi movie, actually. It was, I think it was Pray for Death, where he was walking down the street with his family, and some rude guy bumped him. Clearly he was in the right, and the other guy was just being an idiot. But the guy says to him, "Watch where you're going," that kind of thing. And Shokozuki's character had flashbacks of his training in Ninjutsu back when he was in Japan. This was happening in America, this scene. And he was thinking about all the different ways he could kill him on the spot. And instead he just smiled and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry." And he turned around and kept going. So he took it. To me, that's martial artist. That is someone who is, no matter how many times they could have killed him over again, he bowed out, took the high road, and went on his way. We don't see that much anymore, at least outside of Japan. In Japan, the Japanese Shihan always have a sense of humility and, that kind of thing. But for some reason, other nations, but I think it's a cultural thing, right? So I think sometimes these people have failed in some area of their life when it comes to manners. And it shows in other areas of their life too, but that's what a martial artist is to me. Also, on my last trip to Japan, I noticed that Hatsumi Sensei was still treated like a god. Not entirely surprising. I can understand, but it's still strange to me at the same time. They do everything like shoo people out of the way in front of him. They hold his shoes open when he is finished at the dojo and he's about to leave. Once he puts his shoes in, they tie his shoes for him. They hustle around with great gusto, trying to almost roll out a red carpet if they have the ability to do it. It's just a very strange experience, looking at it from my point of view, I guess. There was a guy there from a Spanish country when I was there, and he had another guy following him around, recording everything as a translator. That was different, unique. I'm not sure why. Maybe, I guess the translator spoke, I heard him speaking English, but he probably spoke Japanese and Spanish, and likely I can't remember the other guy that was actually training. He couldn't speak. Didn't hear him speaking English or Japanese, so I'm guessing the translator would just be the in-between guy, but was recording everything at the same time. I also met an Israeli there, very nice guy. I have a heart for Israel. I love Israel. I love the people of Israel. And it was a pleasure talking to this guy and getting to know him. I don't even know who he is. He was a gentleman with a big belly and white hair, and I've seen him in other pictures before, so I know he goes there on a regular basis. A 15th Dan or something. It was nice to see that. Nice to see everybody, of course. Old friends, new friends. How about some bloopers? I record other things too, other than just like this podcast and stuff. And every once in a while, there's a screw up that makes me laugh, and I keep them. And maybe I'll share a couple with you and get a laugh out of you. If you are the prey, walking on train track. Matt
Damon. Really?
Matt Damon.
50-50 chance. I don't know. There's like multiple.
This is a just to get you thinking.
Oh, I do enjoy thinking. I hate it.
I was insulting it, very hilarious, all at the same time.
I'm sorry.
Ching Chong Kwong. Well, it doesn't insult me, it just insults.
How about this?
Insults Asian people.
I should turn it so I can see the numbers, because I only want about 5 minutes or so.
Get out of here. I want, like, newer people to get the...
Yes, in theory. In theory, yes. Big foot movements. Beginners are supposed to have very deliberate footwork like this. Later on, we eliminate it, but if you don't have a colored belt, you should be doing that. So, yeah, do very exaggerated steps. Watch the feet mostly. Yeah. Of course, later on we eliminate that, but sometimes we forget that people are learning it for the first time. So, or when shows up.
Good thing he only shows up once every 6 months.
Lately. Do that a couple times. I don't know if you know that or not. Have you seen that before? Have you done other styles? I think you have, eh? They have this in a few things.
Judo, Taekwondo.
Yeah, and not Taekwondo, but Aikido. Oh, okay, yeah. Aikido has this, Karate has this, Judo has it. All that stuff. Real Jiu-Jitsu. The Japanese, the good ones.
JJJ.
Japanese Jiu-Jitsu.
As opposed to BJJ. Which is just all...
Broken Jiu-Jitsu.
Which is just all ground pound shit.
Wrestling.
Welcome to the Divine Warrior Ninjutsu Online Course Library. Here's a listing of some of our programs listed, and we'll take you into the 9th Q dedicated program. Here's where you would find all the courses you would purchase. Click on View Course. Here's an overview of what this looks like.
You sound retarded.
It's echoing again. I'm trying to ignore it.
Hello?
Yeah.
You sound retarded.
I know. Like a freaking robot or something stupid.
I heard in another podcast they were talking about survival skills, and they said survival skills are not in the scrolls, but I beg to differ. They are in the scrolls, especially Tokukuryu, and it's called Seizon Jutsu. I don't need to get into length on this. We're currently studying Seizon Jutsu ourselves, and we'll be updating the podcast listeners and stuff with what happened and the minutia of what we learned when we did that. But basically, I just wanted to address the fact that, yes, Seizon Jutsu survival skills is indeed in the scrolls. That is all. I was listening to another podcast, and the guy who's also a 13th Dan, I was 13, 14 now.
Yeah.
He said, there's no such thing as survival skills in ninjutsu.
Wrong.
Official, at least.
Wrong.
Totally wrong, 100%. Especially in the Tokukuryu, because I have the scrolls at home, and there's huge sections, 500 pages on survival. And it's called, anybody know?
Jutsu.
What?
Survival Jutsu.
Something jutsu.
Survival Jutsu.
Survival Jutsu.
Survival. No. Seizon jutsu. Discuss. What is survival to you? Why is it in ninjutsu?
I think everything ninjutsu is a survival, really.
In a
Essentially.
way, yeah.
Self-defense or surviving someone attacking you, same.
But historically, they had, one of the sections they had to pass was survival techniques.
Yeah.
Because they were in the different climates, different areas. So you have to be able to survive for weeks or months on end
No food,
without being
no
able to carry
water.
food with you.
Yeah.
So,
And there was no technology back then like there is today.
No, convenience stores
no
were
cell
harder to
phones
get
calling
to.
a chopper.
No choppers.
Yeah.
No cell phones, no choppers. No backup. Well, there might have been backup, but it would
Getting
be,
smoked in the nearest store with a bitch.
that would be more of your own if there was backup.
Probably grew your own tobacco. Speaking of cigarettes.
Tobacco?
Tobacco.
Tobacco.
Tomato?
Or tobacco.
As far as food goes, when they've carried those high-calorie balls with
Yeah.
them, I can't remember what you called them, but
Iron rations?
Those are coming too.
okay.
He'll teach
I
us
hope so.
eventually. Coming up.
Actually, in the scrolls, oddly enough, since they claimed it's not in the scrolls, there are tales of guys taking those balls. Let me think now. They would say, I can't remember, the first one ball would last like 3 days or something. You could go 3 days with no food, no problem. They said if you took 7 in a row, you could go 3 years with no food. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but that's how it's written.
I think it felt like 3 years.
Maybe.
You may have been backed up for 3 years.
That 12 ain't going anywhere.
Especially with no McDonald's to help clear himself out afterwards.
Yeah.
That's called cleansing for your cold.
Stop.
No,
And
as
put them
for
in
an
a
earlier
pretzel if you
statement
want.
of yours, that 13th Dan claimed that there was no survival in ninjutsu. Was he referring to ninjutsu? Or, I think you were talking earlier about
Taijutsu?
Hatsumi? Yeah,
Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu.
yes.
I think he was specifically referring to ninjutsu.
Okay.
And I don't think that's the only school either. There's other, because there's 3 ninja schools and 6 samurai schools. So the 6 samurai, maybe, I could see that.
Even they would have to have
Yeah.
a sense of survival because they were in the same,
You'd
almost the
have to.
same boat.
You were basically living in the jungle.
You're on a horse riding in the middle of nowhere with like 2 other people. You don't see civilization for weeks. You gotta survive somehow. Like there's gotta be something.
Especially if you were a messenger returning from a battlefield or something like that, you would be on your own.
Return to sender. Address unknown. Anybody know that song?
I do.
You do.
I gave a letter to the postman. He put it in his sack. Bright and early next morning, he brought my letter back. She wrote upon it, return to sender, address unknown, no such number, no such song.
Yeah. I guess so the bottom line is there's definitely survival. We've done some already, but there's a lot more coming. I know I say that about a lot of things. When I say there's a lot more coming, if I say soon, it usually means within a year. If it's further out than a year, then I'll just say it's coming.
It's not soon enough.
Any more questions, comments about it? What do we say to the guy who says there's no survival? Loser!
Le who? The her.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. 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 Loser.
No, you say os. Is that?
Yeah, I saw that.
I
That's
thought
why
I was very polite in my response to that.
It's funny because most posts, actually all posts, except for a few people, I have to approve first. And I saw that the very next day. I'm like, I'm gonna let this through on purpose. And
I figured that was the case.
yeah.
We'd gone over it the night before it went on.
I pretty much just laughed when I saw it. I was
So
like,
did I.
that's
I
funny.
laughed and I ignored
What
it.
a
and said,
coincidence.
You know what? I'm going to say something anyways.
Hatsumi Sensei is also a soke of the Gikan Ryu Koppo Jutsu. Sato Kinbei and Hatsumi Sensei were both students of Takamatsu Sensei, and Tanamura Sensei was also a student of Hatsumi Sensei. Gikan Ryu. The Gikan Ryu Koppo Jutsu is the most unknown of the arts within the Bujikan and is often translated as the school of truth, loyalty, and justice. Possibly the main reason for this is that the secret techniques were only handed down from one soke to the next soke. This would often be from father to son. Gikan Ryu was founded during the Eiroku era, 1558 to 1570, by Uryu Hogan Gikanbo. He was a lord of present-day Osaka, back then known as Kawachi no Kuni. His castle was known as Uryujo. He was considered a good leader and real warrior. he is seen as being an honorable martial artist who strove to keep Japan at peace. Gikanbo specialized in koppojutsu, bone breaking, hichojutsu, jumping, and senban nagejutsu, blade throwing. The styles of this era were normally known as koshijutsu, koppojutsu, or dakantaijutsu. Gikanbo was heavily influenced by the Chinese style of Cho Gyoko's line, Gyokuryu Koppojutsu, and the Ikai line. From the teachings of Gikanbo comes the saying, Bufu ni sentenashi, from this side will not come the first strike. This is from where he developed Gikanryu Koppojutsu. Gikanryu Koppojutsu contains secret kicks, punches, and throws, and rumor has it that Gikanbo developed a special punch that could snap a sword in two. Grades were awarded through the traditional Japanese Menkyo system using scrolls for Shoden Gata, Chuden Gata, Okuden Gata, Kaiden Gata, and others. The 10th Soke of Gikanryu had the same name as its founder, Uryu Gikanbo. On August 17, 1863, Gikanbo fought the emperor during the famous battle of Tenchu Gumi no Ran. He is said to have fought valiantly, since even after being wounded by a rifle shot, he continued to attack with his one good arm until he was overcome by numerous sword cuts from the enemy. However, he was not killed and sensibly managed to retreat, despite being injured to the point of exhaustion. He retired from the battle to behind a nearby temple. There, he was discovered by an Iga warrior called Ishitani Matsutaro, who himself was on his way to join the battle. Gikanbo convinced Ishitani that the battle would be lost, and that he should not waste his life. Ishitani tended to Gikanbo's wounds and took him to Iga to recover. Ishitani Matsutaro, already the Soke of Takagi Yoshinryu and Kukushinryu, was then repaid for his kindness by being taught the Gikanryu, becoming the 11th generation Soke. In the Meiji era, when Ishitani was 61, he was given employment by the father of Takamatsu-sensei at his match factory. It was from here that Ishitani met and started teaching the young Takamatsu-sensei. Takamatsu-sensei later would receive from Ishitani the Grand Masterships of Takagi Yoshinryu, Kukushinryu, Gikanryu, and many others. Takamatsu-sensei awarded the Gikanryu to Akimoto Fumio, who was his senior student. This was based through his family connections to the Gikanryu, along with the Shoken-ryu of Dakantaijutsu. Unfortunately, his scrolls and densho were destroyed during the Second World War. Sadly, Akimoto passed away in 1962. At this point, there are two different stories that are being told by the Genbukan and the Bujinkan. Shoto Tanemura, the Soke of the Genbukan, who was at one point a student of Hatsumi-sensei, claims to have inherited the silk ship from Sato Kinbei, who supposedly in January of 1963 was awarded the Soke ship for Gikanryu Koppojutsu. As the story accounts, from this time on, any information concerning Gikanryu was held exclusively by Sato Kinbei-sensei in the various forms of knowledge, scrolls, and texts. Kinbei-sensei, for reasons unknown, chose to keep secret the heritage given to him by Takamatsu-sensei. Sato Kinbei is regarded by Genbukan schools the 14th Soke of the Gikanryu. It was decided in a Japanese court that Shoto Tanemura and has provided the scrolls to prove it, but Masaki Hatsumi also has the scrolls. Shoto Tanemura, former student of Hatsumi's, who set up his own organization, Genbukan, and one of the Soke of Gikanryu according to the Japanese courts. This was originally contested by Hatsumi. Masaki Hatsumi's story is less complicated. After Akimoto's death, the Soke ship came back to Takamatsu, who gave it to Hatsumi, along with the other 8 ryus that altogether were used to create the Bujinkan Budo Ninpo Taijutsu school. However, when asked, he has only provided scrolls to prove that this is the case to a select few. It may well be that there is more than one Soke ship for the Gikanryu that has been given. Nonetheless, it is almost completely inaccessible to the general public or even senior practitioners of the Bujinkan. The Gikanryu scrolls, through the Genbukan, have been given to the general public. However, one individual had just recently been allowed access to a few scrolls and densho from Soke Masaki Hatsumi's personal library, and one of the scrolls was a never-before-seen scroll of sword-on-sword techniques within the Gikanryu. What was particularly unique about this scroll was that, As well as the kanji detailing the technique, the illustrations of various kamae were quite beautiful and very colorful. Most scrolls have no illustrations or few, and those that do are not often colored. This was a very nice exception to that rule. It also proved that Soke Hatsumi does have quite a few scrolls that, until now, he has not shared with people, or at least only a trusted few. This scroll also detailed that one of the defining characteristics of the school is for the feet to be pointing in completely opposite directions, like a ballet stance, which alone makes any technique very difficult. Ultimately, though, the strong influence of the Gyokuryu upon the Gikan-ryu means one can assume that the differences between the two are not very big. Gikan-ryu Koppojutsu, Truth, Loyalty, and Justice School. Denkei. 1. Uryu Hangan Gikanbo, Yeroku Era, 1558 to 1570. 2. Uryu Yoshimitsu, Tensho Era, 1573 to 1592. 3. Uryu Yoshimori, Kane Era, 1624 to 1644. 4. Uryu Yoshichika, Kambun Era, 1661 to 1673. 5. Uryu Yoshitaka, Genroku Era, 1688 to 1704. 6. Uryu Yoshihide, Horeki Era, 1751 to 1764. 7. Uryu Yoshimori, Kansei Era, 1789 to 1801. 8. Uryu Yoshiaki, Tenpo Era, 1830 to 1844. 9. Uryu Yoshiyasu, Bunkyu Era, 1861 to 1864. 10. Uryu Gikan, Keio Era, 1865 to 1868. 11. Ishitani Takeoi Masatsugu, approximate death 1905. 12. Ishitani Matsutaro Takekage, born circa 1844, died 1908. 13. Takamatsu Toshitsugu Uo, born 1887, died 1972. 14. Akimoto Fumio, born 1894, died 1962. 15. Hatsumi Masaki, born 1931 to present. Gikan-ryu Koppojutsu, Gikan Uryu. 10th Soke. Uryu Gikan had been fighting in the battle now known as Tenchigumi no Ran. This took place on the 17th of August 1863. He was fighting for the Emperor's army, and unfortunately for him, he was shot in the arm by a musket. He still continued to fight with the use of only one arm. When he became too exhausted to fight, he retired to the safety of a nearby temple. It was at this temple that he was met by Ishitani Takeo Masatsugu of the Kukushin-ryu, 25th Soke Kukushinden Happo Biken. Uryu told Ishitani that the battle had already finished. Ishitani tended Uryu's wounds and helped him recover. Afterwards, they both escaped to the province of Iga. Here they were safe. It was common after battles that the winning side would have their soldiers search the countryside for anyone from the losing side. It was usual practice to kill anyone that was found. As both Ishitani and Gikan fled together, we can not only assume that they were on the same side, but having to flee to the safety of Iga, they must have also been on the losing side. A friendship was then formed, and Ishitani was taught the Gikan-ryu. As such, when he attained the required skill level, Uryu presented him with the Menkyo Kaiden, and he became the next Soke of the Gikan-ryu, adding this lineage to two others that he was already the Soke. These being Kukushin-ryu and Hontai Tekage Yoshin-ryu. This was a very turbulent and disruptive time for Japan. The West was forcing Japanese to open up their borders. Therefore, as there is no record of this battle in English language books, we can assume that this is probably a local disturbance, and that these men were either originally from Iga, or that Iga was a safe area not in any way controlled by the side they fought against. That's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
Gyoko-ryu, which is where the bulk of our Gokyo and Kyonhappo come from. All the schools have Gyoko, or the Kyonhappo, but they lean very heavily to Gyokuryu. That's why we do like 45s, because that's a Gyoko thing. Tokokure is 90-degree angle steps. Gyokuryu is 45s. Kukushinden is straight, 180s. Things like that. So,
Wasn't there one that fights in circles? Or steps in circles?
That could be Gyokoryu too. If you keep doing it, it'll go. Yeah.
Okay.
And the rest of them are just variations of a theme. They kind of...
Or boat people.
Yeah, the boats.
Pirates.
Boat things. Yeah. And as we learned, Gikan was both feet in opposite directions and stuff like that. So, who would like to read page 1? For a Bujin buck.
I would, but I'm supposed to read page 2, correct?
For 2 Bujin bucks.
I don't know if I can see it. Let me see.
Can you read it? It's small print.
Oh, if I had better lighting, I probably could, but no, I can't.
I'm gonna pass at the end anyways.
If you make mistakes, don't worry about it.
But I always worry about making mistakes.
Here, you hold it for him, and you hold it for him.
Sounds complicated.
I just figured he wasn't here for a lot
He's
of the
touching
other
me.
reasons, so it's his turn.
Gyokoryu is a school of Koshijutsu, attacks to muscle and nerve points. Shito Jutsu, using the thumb and fingers for striking. Kenjutsu and Bojutsu. Gyokoryu is sometimes referred to as Gyokoryu Nimpo from a ninjutsu component it contains. According to the 1968 edition of the Bugiai Rya Daijiten, Masaki Hatsumi is the current Soke of the Ryu, which was passed to him by his teacher Takamatsu Toshitsu Ugu.
Yes.
Shoto Tanemura of the Genbukan has Menkyo Kaiden in this Ryu from Takematsu Den and has founded his own branch of Gyokoryu called Gyokoryu Tenemura-ha. He teaches the Ryu within the Genbukan organization. According to the Bujinkan, Sho Gyoko brought the school to Japan from China during the Tang Dynasty, and it was handed down from generation to generation. Sakagami Taro Kunishige organized Gyokoryu Shitojutsu in the Tenmon period 1532 to 1550. He taught it to Sakyo Ishinsei, who created Gyokoryu Koshijutsu. Its sister school is Kotoryu, also created by him. Both Gyokoryu and the aforementioned Kotoryu were taught by him to Momuchi Sandayu, who carried on the traditions within Iga-ryu until the late Tokugawa period, mid-19th century. Techniques from Gyokoryu and Kotoryu became the foundation for techniques of Tokugoro-ryu. The school is roughly divided into 3 sections: unarmed against unarmed, unarmed against kodashi, and unarmed against sword.
Short sword and long sword.
Okay. Formal techniques of Gyokoryu, the waza techniques and kata forms of the ryu are written in the densho, or scroll, in a particular order, which is the order that they should be learned. Master one before moving on to the other. The densho is organized according to the following levels. Ki-gata, the postures of Gyokoryu, includes methods of moving within them. Torite, Kyohan Gata, and Moto Gata. These are the fundamental techniques that make up the system. Joryaku no Maki contains various forms. Each form contains principles that the practitioner needs to understand. Choryaku no Maki contains more forms. These are more advanced than Joryaku no Maki forms. Giryaku no Maki contains very advanced forms. History and legend of the Gyokuryu. Gyokuryu, or Jade Tiger, or Tiger Sphere tradition. Koshi Jitsu, Shito Jitsu, Nimpo. The ancestry is Toda Sakyo Ishinsei. Receiving the tradition of Gyokuryu Shito Jitsu from Sakagami Toro Kunishiga of the Tenbun era, Toda Sakyo Ishinsei established Gyokuryu Koshijutsu as well as Kotoryu Kopojutsu, passing them on to Momochi Sundiao, bringing them within the traditions of Iga Ryu Ninjutsu of Toda Shinryu Ken, who lived during the end of the Tokugawa regime. It is said that Shinryu Ken Masamitsu, in the 14th year of Meiji Emperor, died at the age of 90 years. Also referred to Kotoryu.
Thank God that's over.
So Tokugawa, was that...
Tokugawa was a shogun.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ieyasu Tokugawa, and he had Tokure. They were Iga ninjas for sure that worked for him to protect him. And there's a pagoda, those really high multi-level buildings. You know, they're quite narrow, but they're high. There's one there in Japan. I have pictures of it. And I went and visited with a plaque that talks about the Tokugawa shogunate, or the reign of the emperor, and it listed the ninja, the head ninja that worked for him, which was on our list, which is pretty cool. I was right there. That was like where they... It's like, yes.
No, do they still use shoguns today, or is that a thing of the past?
They're gone. Yeah.
How much am I reading this, all of it?
They've got their daite and their minister.
Yeah, there's still an emperor, but he's a puppet emperor who doesn't really do much.
It's kind of like Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have a president or a prime minister, whatever.
Prime minister.
Is it a prime minister?
Yeah.
And an emperor. But the emperor is a figurehead. Everyone.
But they still run the calendar off of the emperor, right?
Yeah.
Do they not?
Yeah. So the calendars go. The way that the system, the calendar, like the years go in Japan is. Right now is. I think it's Meiji. Is it Meiji? No. Because when I do your certificates up, I put the Japanese calendar year, not ours. What's the calendar? I think it's something. Current Japanese calendar year. Japanese calendar year. Heisei. And you can see right there, Heisei 30 is 2018, so it's Heisei 31 is the date in Japan. So,
which would mean he was emperor for 31 years.
He's still emperor.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. He's been emperor for the last 31 years, right?
So when he started his reign, it was Heisei 1, the date. And Heisei 2 the next year, and it kept going like that. So every time you go back through Japanese history, it's by emperor and the date of his reign, basically. Not 2019.
So what about like Ninpei era 1110? The guy didn't live for 1,110 years, right? Like,
yeah.
So how does that work?
Well, the 1110 is our.
It's our, so it's our year.
Ninpei
was the emperor.
So, but it doesn't have the year.
Doesn't have the year. Okay.
It's a combination. That's all. Ninpei.
For someone who doesn't want to talk to me, she's talking to me an awful lot.
But as we're saying, the shogun. Sometimes there's more than one shogun too, like in different areas.
I've been wanting to do that, and I didn't want to do it while he was reading, so I waited. That's so good.
Yeah, because it's like they, there was periods of times where they were allowed building their own.
Well,
sort of.
I think allowed is a.
Provinces?
It wasn't allowed. It was.
They build their own armies and build their own.
It was under war, so they did it as a rebellion.
That's why they call it
warlord
martial
eras.
arts, because of his like martial law, right?
And the reason that the samurai existed and the ninja was because all these states were at war with each other. Japan was not a unified nation at all. It was very
super broken up.
Yeah. Now there were provinces, and everybody within the province was very what's the word I'm looking for? Cohesive. They worked together. They were allies.
Loyal.
Yeah, very, very much so. So if you were in a province,
Kogar.
it was almost like a sports team. Hoorah. You know, we're all.
You're from Iga, I'm from Iga. Let's go get drunk together. Like,
Basically.
Like they were like when some guy from New Jersey meets another guy from New Jersey in some other country and they're best buddies because they're like, oh, you're from Jersey, I'm from Jersey, you know?
Yeah.
You go to Dominican, you meet other Canadians, and you immediately just like hang out with them all the time. Yeah, it's just how people are. Right?
Basically,
it's the mentality of it.
I was gonna say I never had that issue with people from Jersey. They never want to hang out with me.
Why don't you go work in Jersey? Go wear some small strap tank tops and spray on too much orange tan and eat some hot dogs and beat your wife once in a while.
A white tank top.
Yeah. You know, they don't call me wife beater for nothing, huh? Is that
What's the matter with you, eh?
I'm walking here.
All right. Your turn.
Okay, how much of this? Like literally everything?
All of it.
All of it.
Special emphasis on the mottos.
Robert, this is for you too. Don't worry, I'm not gonna let just me get crapped on all night tonight. Gyoko Ryu Koshijutsu Tozawa Hakunasai Tozawa Shosuke Suzuki I almost said Subaru. Suzuki Saburo Shigeyoshi. 6 generations of Suzuki not listed. Sakagami Goro Katsushiji?
Yeah.
Sakagami Taro Katsushige?
Yeah.
Sakagami Taro Kunishige? Gyoko Ryu Shitojitsu? Sando Kataro Minamoto no Masahade? Masahade?
Yeah.
Sogyokan passed the tradition on to 4 students. First one being Sasaki Gendayu Sadayasu Kishu. Wow. Sasaki Goro Yuman Teruyori Gyokushin Ryu Kopujitsu. Second one being Suzuki Taizen Taro Chikamasa Hantai Gyokushin Ryu, 3 generations not listed. And then Fukao Kakuma Shigeyoshi Izumo Ryu Kopujitsu.
Now you'll notice, because I'll stop you for a second. So it says 1, 2, 3, 4. It says he passed it on to 4 students, and then you do 1, and it lists a bunch of students there. That's because this is the guy, one of the guys that got it from him, but then he passed it on to these guys after him. So this
That's
is
why it's like generations not listed.
Yeah.
'Cause those are
So it's going from him to 1, and then from 1 to these guys, and him to 2, and 2 to these guys. So it's kind of a tree. That's what they're getting at.
That is so racist. His name is Akimoto. Like in every bad movie or TV show, when they see a Japanese guy, they're like, "Hey, what's going on, Akimoto?"
Akimoto Master.
Yeah. Every time I see Suzuki, it's like throwing me off, man.
Mitsubishi Lancer.
Yeah. Mitsubishi, Suzuki, Subaru, you know? Yeah.
Yamaha.
I can't. 3, Akimoto Kawachi Moriyoshi Uryu Hangan Gikanbo Gikan Ryu Kopujitsu Akimoto Taro Yoshihide. And 4, Toda Sakyo Ishinsai Koshijutsu / Kopojitsu Momochi Sendayu Tenbun era, Momochi Sendayu 2 Tensho era, Momochi Tenba Yasumitsu Kicho era, Momochi Taro Saiman. 4 generations omitted. Was that because like they didn't want people to know who the head was, or is it just records weren't there kind of?
It's most likely it was they didn't want their identities revealed. Okay. It was probably very dangerous at the time, more than normal. Or other people have speculated that their records got damaged or destroyed, or maybe on the scrolls, because when Hatsumi opens up the scrolls, there's like tears and stuff sometimes, or faded. So there could be a little tear in the spot where maybe the names have been lost. But
And that was how you could steal Soke shit, by going in and killing the current Soke
yes,
of
in theory, yes.
whatever school, right? And then you could take it.
Yes.
Kind of.
But most likely, in this case, it was a warring period, very dangerous. Like, don't put my name. Like when you see guys today, our current version is you see guys with their rifles and their special forces with black bars across their face.
Yeah.
That's the modern version of don't print my name.
Don't show my face.
Yeah.
Translator's notes. Toda Shinryuken and Shinryuken Masamitsu are the same person. Toda is the family name. Shinryuken Masamitsu is the given name. See Toda Shinryuken Masamitsu. Strangely, same Hakun as in Hakun Ryu Ninjutsu. Sogyokan and Sogyokan Ritsushi, see Kolo Ryu, are the same person. And then there's Japanese writing. I'm assuming it just means Hakun Ryu. White Cloud Tradition, Ninjutsu. Said to be founded by Hakun Dushi in the Yuwa era.
Dushi?
Dushi? D-O-U-S-H-I.
Doshi. Yeah.
Really? It's spelled that way?
Doshi.
I thought Doshi was just D-O-S-H-I.
Oh, it probably, if it's the same guy, it could be, but just
okay.
From
whatever.
Because it wasn't written in, they used kanji, right? Which represented ideas, so when one person read it, and as it went along, it might have gave Tori.
I didn't mean to make him sound like he was a bad guy. I mean,
like,
I'm sure
Nyodo?
Hakun isn't Doshi.
Hachiryu Nyodo, that guy?
Yeah.
He's also in one of the other schools, but it's Hachiryu Nyodo with a U. So the only difference is someone just, as they said the kanji, just came out a little different. No big deal.
The Yuwa era. 1181 714 to 1182.527. I'm assuming that's like year, month, day kind of thing. Yeah. Gotan Jopujutsu. Jopuryu.
Oh, Jopuryu.
Yeah. Gotan Jopuryu. 5 escapes in 10 directions tradition, ninjutsu. From Hakun Ryu, White Cloud tradition. Haguro Ryu, named after Haguro Mountain, ninjutsu. From the Akita clan. Is everyone ready for the mottos? The nin means guard the nation at the cost of our own life. Forget yourself, be patient, do not fear. Do not give yourself away in case of danger. When you face an enemy, keep your spirit indomitable. Yeah, I almost said abominable. Serve and defend your teacher in the same way as your parents. The vices reduce your abilities. Being drunk affects your ability to reason.
It doesn't say that.
I assure you, sir, it does.
Destroy the power of your enemy, but respect his life, which is oddly familiar to the Shaolin monk rule, whereas, what is it? Discern before hurt, hurt before maim, maim before break, break before kill, for all life is precious and cannot be replaced.
Did I show you the recording of Stephen Hayes?
Yeah, you did, because I said it one time and you said it was oddly familiar to something he had said. Yeah. Do not teach others without your teacher's permission. So I have 2 things I need to fix.
That's not something big. When I started, way back, there was very strict. Do not show anyone.
But even back when you started, it was still kind of what it used to be. Yeah. More of a, you are here, you are learning to be a ninja, do not tell secrets. Don't tell people what you're doing. Don't.
Well, because if you're showing others, then you're also not keeping it secret. Like one of the top ones was saying, to keep it.
Do not give yourself away in case of danger.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I agree on, but sometimes I can tell if I'm out and about and I'm around certain people. I can tell to a point. Okay, if I mention I'm in martial arts, these guys are all just gonna want to fight me. Or I know, okay, if I mention I'm martial arts, they're gonna say, "Oh, that's cool. Like, I'd like to go and try it sometime." It's different. I know who I hang out with. I know who the people are.
I think sometimes in this context,
but
it
it's
could be like a samurai or a couple samurai rode in on horseback into a village, and they're all out there dressed as farmers doing tillage, and the women are hanging clothes on the line or whatever it is they do, and not totally oblivious to the fact they'd all kill them in a second.
because they were not just farmers and they weren't just housewives. They were highly trained anti-political parties. They were trying to reshape Japan, and they were like deadly accurate.
Secret Ninpo and Kunoichi and hanging
That's
out.
the idea, right? So when you come across a guy who, back in the day, saying it was a ninja, he would blend in so well, you'd have no idea. And you shouldn't even see weapons, really. They were all hidden.
Well, like a kunai, or what is it? A kunai, or is it, what's the other one? It used to be a spade.
The kunai.
The kunai is a spade.
Yep.
And then the throwing stars were like nail removers and carpenter's tools.
These different schools branch out into different provinces and different territories.
Eventually.
As long as you're in Iga province, you're good. Just don't go to Kobe.
But a lot of times that they were still part of the same clan, and they would do like smoke signals and stuff from mountaintops or light. Did anyone see that box? They put candles in the box, and every side had a different shape with a sliding door. So they'd have 4 symbols, and they could send full messages, like turning it a certain way and going, turning it.
The sun, the moon, the star.
Yeah, so it was like Morse code in a way, and the guy on the other mountain would see flashes of shapes, and he could write down full messages that way, and miles apart, like hundreds of miles.
Like this?
Possibly, yeah. Or smoke. They would do smoke and fire, and it'd spray fire up, and they'd go back and forth a certain way to write. It was just long distance too. So it'd be part of the same group, same family. They were just taking care of that geographical location. Yeah. So the drunk one, can I see that one again?
It is on there.
Do you really don't believe it?
So
No, I believe it. I
Oh, you
believe
do?
it.
You're just kidding. Where was it? Being drunk affects your ability to reason.
That's true.
You know what else affects
Very
your ability
true.
to reason? Possibility of someone drugging you too, but I was talking to someone else and they said they were down at 2nd floor and they got drugged last weekend there.
Oh yeah?
Another guy, so it happens. I heard it was really bad there at Revolution too, so I mean it's at one place in Moncton, it's at somewhere else in Moncton, right? It's a city. It's not like people are just congregating to one specific bar.
Gyokuryu Koshijutsu, Jeweled Tiger School. Denkei. Princess in the Chinese Imperial Court Guard. Hogenbo Teshun. Sasabe Tendo. Yao Yuhu. Chinese Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 AD. Zhang Wusheng. Chinese Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 AD. General Yi Go. Chinese Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 AD. Cho Gyoko. Chinese Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 AD. Yo Gyoko. Chinese Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 AD. Ikai. Chobure. 1056. Gamon Doshi. Garyu Doshi. Hachiryu Nyudo. Tozawa Hakunzai. Hogen 1156. Tozawa Shosuke. Oho 1161. Suzuki Saburo Shigeyoshi. Joan 1171. Suzuki Gobei Mitsusara. Suzuki Gojiro Mitsuhisa. Tozawa Soun Shōo 1288. Tozawa Nyodo Geniai 1. Yaman Hyōun 2. Kato Ryu Hakun Oe 1394. 3. Sakagami Goro Katsushige Tenbun 1532 to 1555. 4. Sakagami Taro Kunishige Tenbun 1532 to 1555. 5. Sakagami Kotaro Masahide Tenbun 1532 to 1555. Died 1542. 6. Sokyokan Ritsushi. 7. Unryu Hangan Gikanbo. Yeiroku 1558 to 1570. 8. Akimoto Taro Yoshihide. 9. Toda Sakyo Ishinsai. 10. Momochi Sandayu the First. Tenbun 1532 to 1555. 11. Momochi Sandayu the Second. Tensho 1573. 12. Momochi Tamba Yasumitsu. Bunroku, 1595. 13. Momochi Taro Saemon Genna, 1615. 14. Sasaki Goemon Tenbun, 1532 to 1555. 15. Sasaki Gendayu Tenbun, 1532 to 1555. 2 generations omitted. 18. Toda Seiryu Nobutsuna Kanye, 1624. 19. Toda Fudo Nobuchika Manji, 1658. 20. Toda Kangoro Nobuyasu Tenna, 1681. 21. Toda Aizaburo Nobumasa Hoye, 1704. 22. Toda Shinbei Masachika Shotoku, 1711. 23. Toda Shingoro Masayoshi Genbun, 1736. 24. Toda Daigoro Chikahide Meiwa, 1764. 25. Toda Daizaburo Chikashige Bankwa, 1804. 26. Toda Shinryuken Masamitsu, born 1824, died 1909. 27. Takamatsu Toshitsugu Wo, born 1887, died 1972. 28. Hatsumi Masaki, born 1931 to present. Gyokushin Ryu Ninpo, Jeweled Heart School. Denkei. 1. Sasaki Goroemon Teruyoshi, Tenbun, 1532. 2. Sasaki Gendayu Sandayasu, Tenbun, 1532. 8 generations abbreviated. 11. Toda Seiryu Nobutsuna Kwanye, 1624 to 1644. 12. Toda Fudo Nobuchika Manji, 1658 to 1681. 13. Toda Kangaro Nobuyasu Tenna, 1681 to 1704. 14. Toda Aizaburo Nobumasa Hoye, 1704 to 1711. 15. Toda Shinbei Masachika Shotoku, 1711 to 1736. 16. Toda Shingoro Masayoshi Genbun, 1736 to 1764. 17. Toda Daigoro Chikahide Meiwa, 1764 to 1804. 18. Toda Daizaburo Chikashige Bankwa, 1804. 19. Toda Shinryuken Masamitsu, born 1824, died 1909. 20. Takamatsu Toshitsugu Wo, born 1887, died 1972. 21. Hatsumi Masaki, born 1931 to present. Hontai Takagi Yoshin Ryu Jutai Jutsu, True Form High Tree Willow Heart School, or the True Form Willow Heart School of the Takagi family, Mizuta Den. Denkei. Abe Unryu, 1569. 1. Takagi Oryoemon Shigenobu, born 1625, died 1711. 2. Takagi Umanosuke Shigesada, born 1656, died 1716. 3. Takagi Gennoshin Hideshige, died 1702. 4. Okuni Kihei Shigenobu, died 1735. 5. Okuni Yakuburo Nobutoshi. 6. Okuni Tarodayu Tadanobu. 7. Okuni Kihei Kihioe Yoshisada. 8. Okuni Yozaemon Yoshisada. 9. Nakayama Jinnai Sadahide. 10. Okuni Buzaemon Hidenobu. 11. Nakayama Kaemon Sadasaka. 12. Okuni Kamaharu Hidetoshi. 13. Yagi Ikugoro Hisayashi, Tempo era, 1830 to 1844. 14. Fujita Fujigoro Hisayoshi. 15. Mizuta Yoshitaru Tarafusa. 16. Takamatsu Toshitsugu Uo, born 1887, 1972. 17. Hatsumi Masaki, born 1931 to present. That concludes another edition of the Divine Warrior Ninjutsu podcast. If you're interested in getting in contact with us, visit our website at divinewarriorninjutsu.com, and there's all kinds of contact information there. Until next time, this is Shihan Jason Steve signing off.